It seems like we're back to the good old classic question of reMarkable versus Supernote versus Boox. And, well, maybe the Scribe if you want to save a few pounds. I'm here for it. You can get two other e-ink devices for the price of this model, and maybe you should. Because, okay, a Tab Mini C with a Kaleido 3 and a Go 10.3, maybe that's the perfect combo. Would I recommend a Nomad over the PaperPro? I think they're very different devices. And they could certainly be, that would be a good combo. That would be a great combo. Nomad and PaperPro. Nomad being a little bit smaller than the reMarkable. I haven't got one with me, but I've got the older A6X. So you could have the Nomad and you could have the device that fits in between these two. That would be the size of the Nomad, the reMarkable being a little bit bigger. What a great combo. You'd have one with color, you'd have one with black and white. Brilliant. That's it. Yeah, a lot of people, wait and see for the Gallery 3. I'm excited enough to take a punt and go for it. As I said in my little intro video, the reMarkable don't do things by half. And I think at this point, it took them 3 or 4 years to make this release. And I think that's because when Gallery 3 was first announced by e-ink, they were really excited. They said, that's the future, that's what we're gonna do. And then they got it, and the reality was that they couldn't make it work well quickly. And so they took those probably 2 years of development, I think, from when Gallery 3 was announced. And they took that and they worked on it. And I hope that means they've got it right. I will be disappointed in them, and their sales will suffer if the initial reviews are quite bad, and disappointed if that Gallery 3 doesn't live up to this promise here. And that will mean that a future reMarkable 3 won't sell as well. And I think that's it. I don't think it's a risk. I think it's a very calculated. I think they've got it right. I think they would have just decided to release a reMarkable 3 if they hadn't got it right. I think because everyone would have still been here talking about how amazing a reMarkable 3 with 300 PPI at about £400, we would still be having this conversation about how excited we were about that. Similar size, basically the same device, just looking a little bit newer. We'd still be talking about how good that is. So they don't need to add color to create the hype and sell devices. They want to add color because they think this is going to be a great device for people. I don't think it does support split screen, but I think that's the type of thing that they probably will add. So right now, it's going to have a very similar operating system to the reMarkable 2. But then at some point they will probably fork them, and it will. So it's already forked in a way because the reMarkable 2 won't have the color options, but they will then develop the reMarkable PaperPro, I think, in order to take use of more of that screen real estate. Because you're right, when you open up the Typefolio currently, the text goes right into the middle, and that is an issue. I've actually got a sort of note up, but the typed text just sits right in the middle of the screen rather than to one side, rather than going right across the whole thing. And it just would make sense to allow you to use a side by side. So I certainly think that they will do that eventually. From 2027 on the EU device, we'll have to have replaceable batteries. Even the Iron Pro does not, they might have to introduce new devices then. That's interesting. That's an interesting point. Yeah, so they said it's a unibody so that it can be more easily repaired. So that should lead to more sustainability. It should be cheaper to repair that device because they won't have to open it up in the same way. They won't have to waste so much stuff when they do so. But it won't be user replaceable battery. It won't be user repairable either. I'm a consultant, and what I need is a good place to read PDFs, make a lot of notes, they're easy to find, organize them, make sure I don't lose them. Boox Go 10.3 or reMarkable. Well, I think you've predicted almost the focus of my content for the next couple of months, to be quite honest, Gonzalo. I will try not to contribute to your analysis paralysis. Both of them tick both of those boxes. So it's what you want to get, and it's what you want to spend. It's what you want to get on top of that. And what do you want color on top of that? Do you want possibly some of the most innovative e-ink tech, but also spend almost double? Or do you actually just happy with black and white, and you think that it'll do all the things you want to do, and you'll be so super satisfied because it's great? Those are your choices. B Squared says, when they mention companies releasing devices every year, do you think they're speaking about Onyx Books? Yeah, all companies always do this kind of thing, don't they? I didn't actually spot that. They often allude to things, don't they? Like Samsung and Apple are always at it, aren't they? PC and Mac, Microsoft and Mac are always at it as well. Although they are so willing, have you noticed in marketing from either of them, they're so willing to call each other out by name, aren't they? Whereas other companies just hint. But yeah, it's not just Onyx Books that release a device every year. So does Samsung, more than the device every year. Lenovo, no, they all release devices often. But I think we like e-ink, and I think also because this is an auxiliary device still, I don't think this is replace everything. Something like an iPad is aiming to replace everything. The idea of an iPad for a lot of people is I can replace all my computing with this thing. And a lot of people can. I can't, but a lot of people can. If it's that type of device, your one device and you use it every single day for large amounts of time every day, you're happy to kind of upgrade and enjoy the upgrade process and see what they release maybe once every 2 years. With phones, for instance, most of us were locked in that 2-year cycle. Most of us now leave it for longer than that. But with an auxiliary device, it's better for it to last and live with you for longer. And that's what reMarkable 2's done. And that is what a Supernote have done. They've lived with you for 4 years. And this can still live with you for another 4 years, if you will. Incidentally, whilst just sat there and updated, was talking about it using a wider screen real estate when it's in the Typefolio, and it's just updated to the latest software, which has allowed it to do that. So there we are. Marginal gains, I've said. 2 choices per column width. You can decide how much of the page to fill with typed text. Nothing about actual split screen though, but that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? And I think that would make sense for a device of that size. One device with an active stylus and one with Wacom is not going to be great. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I love that I can use the same Wacom pen on my books, my phone, a Kindle, Scribe, my tablet. Yeah, Wacom EMR is just absolutely fabulous. If this is better, then that would be impressive to see, but there we are. Leave a like, share this man's get, yeah. Has it not got more than 80 likes already, Gonzalo? If there's 95 people on right now, then it should have a minimum of 95, shouldn't it? So go ahead and leave your likes, everybody. Thanks, Gonzalo. That's a call to action from the audience. Maybe I should put you guys in charge of the calls to action. Do you want to also do one about if you're planning on buying one, buy through the link in the description, because it helps support the channel, gives me more time to support you guys in your buying decisions, allows me to make more videos, more content for you. Does the device get around the unresponsive areas of the screen with the reMarkable 2 you pointed out? Yeah, there's nothing about that so far. I think that's a challenging one. There will be on the second generation of Typefolio now. So the one thing about it is like when it locks into that mode there, then there's a lot of magnets there to do so. And those magnets are still in the case when it's lying flat. So you get this ridge in the middle where it's not perfectly accurate. And then when you take it out, of course, there's also magnets on the back of the case just to stick it into the case. So there are magnets there in the back of the case as well. So they sometimes interrupt. Not much, it's not by much, but it's definitely there. So have they solved that? I think they'll have improved it, but they won't have solved it completely if they're going for a magnetic case, which I believe they are. If the Boox Tab Supercolor C Pro 4 to come out in a year with the same screen and store, well, they won't be far behind, I'm sure. And they will be watching today and they will be discussing, and they'll have ordered a few probably. Looks like a great comic reader. I think so. I need to joke. I'm really enjoying reading graphic novels, of course, on the little color Pygmy. Absolutely love it. And I love the fact that, when you've got a minute, you can have a few extra panels of comic. It's really good. It's top drawer, actually. Really enjoyed this. Watchmen, almost at the very end of it. And I've been reading that in tandem with more serious things like Decamorum. But yeah, I think it will be great for comics. But then you don't just want PDF comics, do you? Although there's a lot of, you can get free PDF comics. I think it'd be really great for that. Will they make the notes searchable? Yeah, eventually, I'm sure. Might need a couple more than 2 gig though, because that is a slow process on the books to search for it all. Love to be able to read Kindle books on it, which is why still Boox for me. Great looking device. Boox should make this tech even faster. Yeah, and that's the thing that, for me, it's about whether you're innovating in the open, isn't it? VWoods and Boox and Super innovating in the open, whereas reMarkable have played this so close to their chest. I mean, Good e-Reader got the scoop though. They really did. They are the one that said, rumor is, I don't know who gave them that rumor, but rumor is reMarkable is actually working on a 12-inch advanced color e-paper, and they were spot on. So well done to them. But yeah, Boox certainly do innovate in the light of day. Does the Typefolio make a lot more fat, or is it barely noticeable? It is definitely fatter, yeah, there's no denying it. It's like adding another half the device, maybe, no, another 2/3 of the device even, maybe. I think that's going to be that. I'm the same as you, by the way. And if I want to sketch on it, I take it out of a folio all the time. And I think, but even the book folios, they still have some magnets in them. So the best choice if you want to sketch is to hold it out of that. But actually, that's lovely, holding this one, holding it in one hand, you hold it sort of behind it like you would a sketchbook, and you just sort of balance it and get into a really comfortable way. Yeah, sketching, that's great. All pen and nib and pen combo. And the VWoods one's really quite good, actually, using the harder nibs, not the ones that keep breaking on people. But yeah, it's the Supernote. It's the Supernote, for sure. The Heart of Metal 2 and the Feel Right 2, brilliant. What do you reckon for most writing under €500? If it's for typing, then you want the Note Air 3C, I think, because of the BSR, the Boox Super Refresh technology. But if it's just for writing by hand, then just go for the Go 10.3, I think, at this point. Yeah, 64 gigabytes. And yes, I think that's sufficient for what you're going to use this for. So you're not going to have any space taken up by apps. You're not going to put lots of photos and things. You're just going to read PDFs and do writing. And I've used almost 2 gigabytes after 3
3 years of using this. I don't daily drive it, but not always. I go back to it when they do updates and things, but just, you don't need masses of storage. I think that's plenty of storage, really. What do I think of a possible comparison? reMarkable being the Apple of e-inks, but Onyx being the Huawei. Innovators and more futuristic. I think that's very, very apt, quite honestly. Yeah, I've talked about reMarkable being a bit Apple-esque quite a lot. There's often the comparison because of the way they kind of just come out with here's what you want. And look, here we are. We're all wanting this right now, aren't we? And they seem to have got it right. But Onyx being the more futuristic ones, I suppose. Interesting. The Onyx are the ones, for me, that so far have managed to get the best out of e-ink. And it'd be interesting to see if reMarkable get that name going forwards as being an innovator of use of e-ink, or not just an innovator in the space of e-paper displays, but actually how to get the very best display quality out of ink. How long will it take for other manufacturers to catch up? Well, we don't know. Let's wait and see. Let's hold, because this is hype time, isn't it? Exciting time. Let's wait and see, so we can be objective and say, is this a good thing? Is it actually getting the best out of Galley? Or will it be in a year's time where that color e-paper wasn't quite it yet? We'll see. But I certainly think this is the advanced e-paper is the way e-ink are going. And so making that work well is, I think, crucial for the e-ink market, because in 10 years' time, everything will be a color. Cool. reMarkable aren't going with Android. No, they're not. Do I think that's a good thing? I prefer having the access to the App Store myself, but it's not necessary for the aims of the device. And I can't wait to bring you a teaching video as well. Do I think the Supernote A5X2 will be a great competitor to the reMarkable Pro? I think they're different devices, and I think you still want the Supernote when it comes. The reason why you would still want that is if you want just a notebook type replacement. Whereas I think this, for me, is about reading color documents. It's about working on things like presentations. It's about a bit more fitting into your work life, really. And I think that they're heading that way a little bit more with the Typefolio and the integrations that they're talking about. And I think that for me, I'm thinking this is my sketchbook for a long time, actually. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to go sit up a hill somewhere and draw a landscape, or go draw some nice buildings and be able to blend those colors in with the differing and it's called the shader pencil is what they've done. So there's a new tool on the new reMarkable called a shader, and you'll be able to layer the colors they give you to make all kinds of different shades. So I think that's exciting. Whereas the A5X2 is a powerful note-taking and productivity platform. The Supernote software is stupendously good. So we will see. So the latest setup is use Go for 10.3 as best reader, RM Paper 3 as a notebook, combine both. Yeah, I'm a bit of an advocate of either having the reMarkable ecosystem or Supernote ecosystem and something like a Boox. Probably one of them being color, one of them being black and white. It will just come, it will sync through. So I had the 1 and I bought the 2 and it just synced through as well. Yeah, I love the Supernote 2, which is an incredibly focused device as well. I don't think reMarkable is going to be stealing the device, but you're excited by this and I am too. I think this is a device for the people like us here on the stream. Yeah, absolutely. Need Google Apps, so you've got to go for the Boox, and that's not going away. And let's wait and see what Boox have up their sleeves. I don't think it'll be a gallery-free module this autumn, but who knows? I actually know nothing at this point, by the way, so don't think that I'm hinting or anything. A nice-looking device, not for me. You won't be alone, of course. It's just exciting to sort of see where this stuff is going, isn't it? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so you can't use Intune, for instance. Yeah. So Intune, one of the reasons why the Boox are so good is now they can use Microsoft Intune and give you the badged work apps, which I think is fabulous. And that really does it for me. The fact that I can go in and find my work documents, or I can just decide to actually work on that Excel sheet on an e-ink screen, color e-ink screen, is absolutely brilliant. I have reMarkable too, but need more functionality and likely gravitate to Boox unless more functionality is allowed in the future. What's the interaction of a reMarkable Pro for the academic compared to its competitors? I think that it will be larger but smaller. It will be larger than this. So working with a PDF which is designed to be shown A4, it's not as good on this size, and you end up viewing it in landscape. But the bigger devices, the kind of Boox devices of the world, they're the 10.3 devices. They are just so big you need to have a full-on laptop bag to fit it in. So it's going to be somewhere in between those two sizes, and I think that's quite neat, really. I think that'll be a good thing. It'll be probably just big enough to read comfortably, something designed for A4, because you will be able to snip off the margins essentially, so you can just read the text, but it will be small enough to just go in most bags. So I think there's lots of good things there. And then academic papers often have color figures, which are difficult to decide between two lines when they're the same sort of tone but different hues of colour. So I think that should be good.